Oh, and good evening. It's January 13th, 2025, and we're continuing our discussion collection or outside the class series. This series is from the Bible Project and it covers the entire TaNaK, also known as that Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament. Those source videos are available for your review. All of them are on TheDustyFeet.com in the outside the class section. Because the intent of outside the class is for you to listen to that in-class lecture first. Those, short overview videos, and then we expanded the conversation. These we try to keep to about 15 minutes. Make them easy to catch up on. So we are on a quest, scroll by scroll, book by book, a journey through this collection, but maybe just with a fun and different twist. Our hope with the Dusty Feet is to foster discussion and to help build and support communities. If you're not already connected to a community or just want to share and interact, this community has 4 primary ways to interact. 1. TheDustyFeet.com. That's our primary place to find everything. You are always free to comment. 2. Substack. Link is in the description below. It's designed around the written and spoken text. It's a place to connect to ourselves and others. 3. Facebook at The Dusty Feet. These videos and other videos are also available for comment and discussion. 4. And as always, you're welcome to send an email to bob@thedustyfeet.com. These places, they will be moderated and guidelines will be set to ensure healthy, safe discussion. And as always on The Dusty Feet, this is a place where we can safely explore the endless ways of God and the interconnection of His creation. Belief understandings may be challenged, divine misunderstandings may exist, and traditional teachings might falter as we pursue connection, context, and community with God and each other here in an environment of grace and love. And of course, before we forget, if you do find these kinds of podcasts useful, please click that subscribe button. Reminders, they just help you. But also, if you think these might be useful to others, that is when you click that like button, because that is how YouTube chooses to share these to more people if they wish. So in this series, we're going to cover the entire TaNaK, or that Old Testament. We're going to do it in the original order of the Hebrew Scriptures. And remember, the videos we're going to be discussing, they're always just the tip of an iceberg. They're part of a learning series that I highly recommend, and all of them can be found on the Bible Project's website. Because we're going to ask many questions about all kinds of things. Answers? We'll see. Samuel, second scroll, is our part 9. So last week we met again the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, right? Mephibosheth. Always have a fun one. He was made lame by the fall while fleeing with a caretaker from the expected fallout of the death of Saul and Jonathan. So here we're going to get a little more detail, as well as a reflection of the devotion that David had for Jonathan and, of course, his entire family. Chapter 9, starting verse 6. So Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, son of Saul, came to David, fell on his face, and did obeisance. And David said, Mephibosheth. And he answered, I am your servant. And David said to him, do not be afraid, for I will show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land of your grandfather Saul, and you yourself shall eat at my table always. He did obeisance, and he said, what is your servant that you should look upon a dead dog such as I? And the king summoned Saul's servant Ziba, and he said to him, all that belonged to Saul and to all his house I've given to your master's grandson. You and your sons and your servants shall till the land for him, shall bring in the produce, so that your master's grandson may have food to eat. But your master's grandson, Mephibosheth, shall always eat at my table. Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. And then Ziba said to the king, according to all that my lord the king commands his servant,
so your servant will do. And Mephibosheth ate at David's table like one of the king's sons. Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was Micah, and all who lived in Ziba's house became his servants. Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem, for he always ate at the king's table, because now he was lame in both his feet. David's loyal, and that'll go well, and maybe not so well. Such is life with that, though. What others do with that loyalty, we'll see as time goes on. Conspiracy theories seem not to be new. Folks can make a mess of them. I'm not much a conspiracy theory guy myself. On the surface, I applaud David for his loyalty. It's just there's others who seem to take it the wrong way. Starting in chapter 10 and verse 1. Sometime afterward, the king of the Ammonites died, and his son Hanun succeeded him. And David said, I will deal loyally with Hanun, son of Nahash, just as his father dealt loyally with me. So David sent envoys to console him concerning his father. When David's envoys came into the land of the Ammonites, the princes of the Ammonites said to their lord Hanun, do you really think that David is honoring your father just because he sent messengers with condolences to you? Has not David sent his envoys to you to search the city, spy it out, and overthrow it? So Hanun seized David's envoys, shaved off half the beard of each, cut off their garments in the middle at their waists, and he sent them away. When David was told, he sent to meet them, for the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said to them, remain in Jericho until your beards have grown, and then return. So this series of events, it's a hot mess, right? Conspiracy theory, advice, or counsel. Well, it was heated. Still today we just don't learn. And there's a mistreatment of peaceful emissaries, right? Beard shaving, shame. And that led to a battle that eventually led to the death of 700 chariot teams, 40,000 horsemen, and the death of their general, Shobach. This battle and the follow-up battle, it had such an impact on that region that in chapter 10, verse 19, then all the kings who were servants of Hadadezer saw that they had been defeated by Israel. They made peace with Israel and became subject to them. So the Arameans were afraid to help the Ammonites anymore. So loyalty, it's twice shown. One with what seems like a good outcome. One met with conspiracy that cost the lives of thousands of men. Both, I'll say, with David trying to do the honorable thing. And I'm not saying it wasn't loyal, because I think David was genuine. One might say even heartfelt. So the character of David, like we've been noticing, is on display. So I guess that happens when you're king and the story is about you. But then we get to a character test that David, well, let's just say that we could say he miserably fails. This is one of the most notorious stories in all of Scripture because it's the tale of David and Bathsheba. And we also get a bit of a glimpse into the art of war. Well, it's a regular part of life. Battle was there to protect. We need to remember that if the children of Israel had just done what they were instructed to do, God would have covered this part. He said it. However, I guess with mirrors in our hands, we can see they get what they get, and we get what we get. It seems there was a better time to go to war, right? Chapter 11, verse 1. In the spring of the year, the time kings went out to go to battle, David sent Joab his officers and all of Israel with him, and they ravaged the Ammonites, besieged Rabbah, but David remained in Jerusalem. So it seems the kings often went to war with their armies, right? Maybe David figured that Joab had it all covered, right? He was a very competent commander with victories to show for it, so David stays behind. And with it, maybe it's idle hands, but trouble soon follows. Chapter 11, verse 2, and it happened late one afternoon when David arose from his couch, was walking about on the roof of the king's house, that he saw from a roof a woman bathing. The woman was very beautiful. David sent someone to inquire about the woman, and it was reported, "This is Bathsheba, daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite." So, remember, this is a mirror in hand story, right? David is just on display for us here, but we are all guilty of this in a myriad of ways. Seeing something that's not ours, one could argue, even if it's not where we should even be looking, because Bathsheba's in a cleansing ritual. She's in a mikvah. David is definitely not where he should be for this. This is none of his business. But just like us, we throw caution to the wind. Take whatever we can when we can get it. So in chapter 11, verse 4, so David sent messengers to get her, and she came to him, and he lay with her. Now she was purifying herself after her period. Then she returned to her house. And the woman conceived, and she sent and told David, "I am pregnant." Okay, all of us know that the time between that verses 4 and verse 5, it's not a day, I suspect weeks. But Bathsheba and David, they both know that her husband, Uriah the Hittite, well, he's been at war with Joab. So David sends for him. He has a plan. Not really hard to figure out. Bring the husband back, have him sleep with his wife. All will be good. Best laid plans of mice and men. But Uriah, he's a seasoned warrior. He's focused. He's committed. He does not go home. He camps at the doorstep, ready to be sent back into battle, right? Verse 9 in chapter 11. But Uriah slept at the entrance of the king's house, and all the servants of his lord, and did not go into his house. When they told David, Uriah did not go down to his house. David said to Uriah, "You've come from such a long journey. Why do you not just go down to your house?" Uriah said to David, "The ark and Israel and Judah remain in booths." Those are those temporary dwellings. "And my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are camping in the open field. Shall I then go down to my house to eat and drink and lie with my wife? As you live and as your soul lives, I will not do such a thing." So David panics, tries another tactic. Get him drunk, tries to send him home. Almost seems juvenile, really, yep. But then David goes from juvenile to a cunning adult, right, in the blink of an eye. Chapter 14, in the morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. Chapter 11, verse 15, in the letter he wrote, "Set Uriah in the forefront of the hardest fighting, and then draw back from him so that he may be struck down and die." As Joab kept watch over the city, he assigned Uriah to the place where he knew there were valiant warriors. Next week, we're going to discuss the outcome of the choice, address the concerns about this event. We can talk about, just like us, looking back on our lives and what we would have done differently, how we would caution others in the future. Yeah? Be interesting. Not just David's an issue here. So, thank you with us tonight on another Outside the Class episode with the second scroll of Samuel. David is on full display on the Dusty Feet.